Ladies and gentlefish, the craziest day in Aruga's history has just occurred, and we are here to break it all down for you.
Yes, craziest indeed. Welcome, everyone. My name is Evan Palea. I am joined here, as always, by Ricky Francis. You're watching the Aruga's Trade Alerts.
Oh my, Evan, what a crazy day Thursday was. The most movement we have ever seen in one day. Honestly, probably in all of fantasy football history.
You'd be correct in saying that. Now listen, we had ER Productions go out and gather statements from every manager, starting off with trade number 1, which was between Madam Presidents and No Balls Allowed. Ricky, take it away.
That's right, Madam President shipped Alec Ayamaner, a wide receiver of the Titans, in return for Kareem Hunt, a running back 2 for the Chiefs. Now, here's what they both had to say.
What do you have to say about the trade today? Do you think you got the better half of that deal? Do you regret picking Josh Allen as your first overall pick? What if you picked Poa? Why'd you want Kareem? Gentlemen, please. I'm going to answer the most important question on your minds. The trade of Ayumanor for Kareem Hunt. Now, Madam President's has been riddled with injuries as per usual, but particularly in the running back room. Now, a couple weeks ago, J.K. Dobbins did leave for the season with an injury, and last weekend was a tough weekend for Madam President's. Josh Jacobs was injured in the first quarter, and Jaylen Warren was injured in the second quarter. It is pretty much guaranteed at this point that Josh Jacobs will not be returning this weekend, leaving Wilson as their main running back of the game. Jaylen Warren, too soon to tell, but he was not a participant in yesterday's practice, leaving Madam Presidents with no running backs. Madam Presidents did go ahead and pick up the third string running back on the Packers that will be acting as the second, but on Sunday's game, he was still not given a fair share of the ball, even with Jacobs being out on injury. Now, Madam Presidents had been eyeing Kareem Hunt because she needed a running back, and No Balls Allowed hadn't played Kareem Hunt in quite a few weeks, despite the recent nightmare of Kareem Hunt scoring 99 points on her bench. Now, Madam Presidents and No Balls Allowed does have a good history of a positive working relationship with one another, so Madam Presidents felt it was okay to reach out and see if Kareem Hunt would be up for grabs. Now, at this point, Madam Presidents is hoping that ESPN is wildly undervaluing Kareem Hunt, and that with Pacheco sidelined, the Chiefs still look at Kareem Hunt as their end zone option, as their 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 option, which could lead to a high potential point value. That being the case, Madam President is making a serious push for the playoffs right now, and any loss could be detrimental. So, we thank No Balls Allowed for their business, and we are going to hope that Kareem Hunt has himself a game. Thank you. We love Josh Allen. Number 1 pick material, Josh Allen. Woohoo, go Madam Presidents.
No Balls Allowed would like to thank ER Productions for allowing her to share her thoughts on this pressing matter. As number 1 in the standings, No Balls felt it was time to spread the wealth to a very beautiful but less fortunate team. Madam President seems to be having very consistent bad luck, and No Balls is hoping that Kareem Hunt will turn that around. After all, Josh Allen cannot possibly hold the entire team on their back. Excuse me? Hello? Oh my gosh. No, I already told you NBA will not be trading with you. I do not care if you've sent us 7 requests. No, I think it's time to give it a rest. It's week 12 already. Thank you. Okay, goodbye. And now a word from our sponsor. At this point, No Balls has nothing else to report. Have a great day.
Thank you, Madam Presidents. Thank you, No Balls Allowed. Ricky, where does Alec Ayumanor stand on the depth chart of the Titans?
You know, that's a great question. So Evan, what do you think about Kareem Hunt's
That is another good question. Now on to Team Do It Lady, who received a number of players today in the 2 trades that he did. One of which he received was Ladd McConkey and Courtland Sutton for Jalen Waddle and Hunter Henry. Another where he received running back all-star Derrick Henry for Emeka Egbuka and Quinshon Judkins. Let's hear what Do It Lady has to say.
So yeah, I've been asked to comment about this recent trade. I got to be completely honest with you. I fleeced him. Honestly. I got that trade notification in the middle of my class. I almost stopped the class just to let the kids know that, yeah, I probably won the league.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. And another one.
I fleeced him.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
So that was big. Waddle can waddle himself away. So we don't need that. And a tight end? I'll give anybody a tight end, please. Mr. McConkey, super excited for him. Super excited for that. And I have heard confirmed sources from Inside Scoops that Courtland Sutton is scoring a touchdown every week from here on out. When asked about my other trade, this is a trade that's been in the works for a few weeks. A few weeks, to be honest. Ricky and I have been talking. Our people have been talking to each other. We've reached out, and our agents finally came to an agreement. Do I think Egbuka and Judkins are good? I do. I really do. But do I think Hank the Tank has got more in him? And is Baltimore going to need to win some games? I absolutely do. And I got a message for everybody out there. When you see Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry, you should be afraid.
Thank you, Do It Lady. Now, the receiving end of that second trade was the New Jersey 69ers, who is thrilled to no longer have Derrick Henry on this team. I mean, here's a guy who has been putting up a consistent string of bad numbers for most, if not all of the season, but a player he received is Emeka Egbuka, okay? Now, he is one that this team has been hoping to acquire all season long. Let's hear what the New Jersey 69ers have to say. 69er fans, let's hear it. Bang! What a move today. I think this was a great move for our organization. We brought in 2 emerging rookie superstars that are going to have a long career, a long future, and we get to foster that here, okay? We did have to say goodbye to Derrick Henry, which has been our king for a while, but, it was a up and down year with him. So this was a move that we decided to make. We were happy making it. These were guys that we wanted from the start of the season, and we're happy to finally get them. Now, I do think this puts us in a position to make a good push. Maybe we sneak into the playoffs. I'm not high on that, but what I am high on is I know that this team right now is not coming in last. I can guarantee you that we are keeping ourselves out of a bar. We are keeping ourselves away from a puzzle. That's what this move was all about. And you know what? We did exactly that. As always, there's still a little bit of time before the trade deadline hits, and you know me. I'm always going to try to hit that last splash, okay? So if you're a manager that has a DM from me that is not answered, I would answer.
Thank you, New Jersey 69ers. What a pleasure it is to have you on our show. Always nice to see you.
Now, here's where things start to get pretty exciting. Team Poopy Fart, Team Snides, and Noah's Nasties we're getting busy in the trade market today, okay? Hours of trade negotiations. People pull out of offers, you name it. Let's start with Team Poopy Fart.
Yeah, Team Poopy Fart was looking for change. What we saw from this manager was the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. The definition of insanity.
True.
That outcome, of course, being more wins, and more wins did not come. So change was needed.
And chained is what we saw today. TPF shipped Lad McConkey and Cortland Sutton off to receive a clear wide receiver 1 replacing Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and a tight end replacement for Kyle Pitts, who has been absolutely nowhere all season. So much for the 101 pick, He then proceeded to trade away Kyle Pitts and Romeo Doubs to Team Snides in return for his favorite player, Jackson Dart Vader, okay? And finally, to cap off the trades for this team, he sent Jahmyr Gibbs, his first-round pick, and Chris Olave to Noah's Nasties for James Cook and T. Higgins. Let's just listen to what he had to say.
So everyone's been commenting on my stuff about these recent trades that I made. Decided to jump on here, break down a couple. Thank you to our productions for having me on. So my first trade, listen, I was looking to pick up Jackson Dart for a while. I had him on my bench as a joke earlier in the season. I'm glad he's back. He's not playing this week. Oh well, vibes are high, all right? The second trade was trading away Jahmyr Gibbs and Chris Olave in return for T. Higgins and a player that I've been looking to trade for the entire season, James Cook. He's a running back that excites me, and when he's consistent, he's consistent. And seeing the inconsistencies from Gibbs, I decided maybe I don't really need him. Last but not least, I shipped Lad McConkey and Cortland Sutton for Jalen Waddle and Hunter Henry, and honestly, that was an accident. Just keeping it real. Didn't mean to even put the trade out there in the first place. And put it out there. Thought I canceled it. I mean, oh well, here we are. I'll take Jalen Waddle, Cortland Sutton, and Lad. Sometimes they suck. Sometimes they play. We'll see.
Now listen, we know James Cook was a hot target for Team Poopy Fart all season. I think the momentum, now that he's got him, he's got Jackson Dart, I think the vibes are going to be high all around for this team.
And I would have to agree with you. And if that's what this team is going for the rest of the season is vibes being high, then this was a very successful day for that team. I do think this is a team that could compete if it was earlier in the season, which is always unfortunate to say, but only time will tell. Technically, nobody's out of the playoffs just yet.
This is true. Now, on to Team Snide's involvement in all of this was receiving Kyle Pitts and Romeo Doubs, but also in another trade with Noah's Nasty, he received 3rd overall pick, Bijan Robinson, in exchange for George Pickens and Breece Hall. Here's what Team Snides had to say.
Thank you, Team Snides. Now, Evan, let's call a spade here. You move on from Breece Hall, and you upgrade to Bijan Robinson
Indeed.
and George Pickens. And let's be honest, I'm pretty sure he has Joe Burrow on IR, who could be coming back at any moment. So losing Jackson Dart isn't that big of a hit, especially with Caleb Williams still on the team.
No.
I mean, this was a good move all around.
Exactly. I mean, he had no need for 3 quarterbacks, and he knew what people wanted, Jackson Dart, so he was going to go find value off of it. So he's got the Romeo Doubs to replace the George Pickens. It's not a perfect replacement, but Bijan Robinson, I mean, it kind of cancels it all out.
Sure does. I would say that is a win in his book. I mean, running backs have been very confusing this season. Unless their name is Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor, you don't know what you're getting each week.
You are correct.
Bijan's a good person to take a risk on, that's for sure.
For sure.
Now, finally, to wrap things up, we have Noah's Nasties.
Honestly, Ricky, a manager that has been super interesting to watch, okay? Anywhere from exciting, frustrating, filled with luck. I mean, you name it. The list goes on.
Absolutely. Now, this manager continues to stay extremely active in the trade market. Here's what Nasties did today, okay? Nasty sends off his 1st overall pick, Bijan Robinson. In return, he got the wide receiver 2 of the Cowboys, George Pickens, and the RB1 of the Jets, Breece Hall. While Nasties is losing his sometimes top dog of the week, he gains a wide receiver 2 that shows extreme signs of life, and catching Breece Hall on a good day, the numbers could be pretty high. Not only that, but he also shipped off James Cook finally.
That's right. After negotiating literally every single week of the season, Nasty finally decided it was time to let go. He sent James Cook and T. Higgins, but he acquired Jahmyr Gibbs and Chris Olave. Let's have a look at what this manager has to say.
Who did I trade away, you ask? I traded away Bijan Robinson, James Cook, and T. Higgins. And who did I get? Jahmyr Gibbs, Chris Olave, George Pickens, and Breece Hall. Why did I do this, you ask? I was done with my guys. And I needed a new squad of nasties to carry Noah into the championship. How does this make me feel? I feel great. I have a team full of explosive fighters who will not back down given the matchups they have in the future. Booming? High. Busting? Unlikely. Name change? Maybe.
Thank you, Noah, for the words that you shared with us today. What a change this team has seen. From shipping off Marvin Harrison Jr. and gaining Tet McMillan, who just put up 33 points. I mean, you think we're going to see stuff like that again from Tet?
You know, that's a great question. We spoke, the power rankings team spoke about that briefly this past week, that Tet is a hit or miss. And I think maybe the goal here was to try to get some players who are a little bit more consistent. But if I'm being honest, I don't necessarily think he achieved that by bringing in Jahmyr Gibbs or Chris Olave. Chris Olave is very good, but Tyler Shuck's at the QB position right now. And Jahmyr Gibbs, we've seen him have 30-point games, 15-point games, 5-point games in a span of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
When you pass up on James Cook and Bijan Robinson and T. Higgins, I don't know. I don't think that's a move that I would have expected from a 7-4 team right now.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, with Jahmyr Gibbs, with this week in particular, it's a bad example. He's going up against a team with the worst rushing defense in the league with the New York Giants. It could go either way. Folks, only time will tell. All right? We've got 3 fire weeks left to wrap up this season, and we thank you for joining us today in this massive trade alert.
Massive, like massive trade alert. You know what I'm saying? Like this was great. We hope to see you at least once more before the deadline comes, and I think less than a week, Evan. I think that's all we have left in our trade alerts.
Indeed, but for now, I'm Evan Pelea, joined here by, say it.
Do that again.
And this has been our episode of Trade Alerts. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And Merry Christmas.